right? We can learn something that will be applicable, that will be relevant to what is happening in our previous classes. And we can get support for our peers within our community, right? What changes from the transition force to what British to be intentional. Speak smart, clear decision, which bring up our teacher management we are looking forward. Um, then tomorrow we are talking about a hybrid system. Those are the things that are essential. That's the kind of direction that we want to look at. Yeah. And of course, there is an over reliance on traditional electric-based methods, right? Rather than a skill set user. So those are some of the essentials that our researchers are going to come to these operational and so on. Issues are masked in these assets. Yeah. The law for and it's not shouldn't ask you to not be able to know to buy this stuff, right? One of the things which falls from my comments to inform is which sort of environment stuff is home of the people's of the institution to have understanding of what the principles of the administration is all about, what the community and the environment is all about. So it's specific skills and knowledge within that environment. So the first that we need to use to skill and confidence. So in the fact of professional and skills, we really need to be having these systems now. Because what will happen is that we can be particularly scholarship as difficult. Look, something one it's so read on some of the information. So the design is something that is critical, right? Challenges in implementing, right? And of course, in implementation program, it comes to us, which can suggest well, so execution, so follow through, and of course, what is happening, and if that is one of the limitations of the projects of implementation. We can look at sustained support, we can learn in coaches, coach, what's the renewable application, if we also payment management, so we can coach, right, the evaluation program, right, so for cases that we have is over reliance in some parts, it's actually, so we know it's coming together as an example. The perfect recognize say this knowledge work. Um, we have to make recommendations on those graphs. So I would want to share some recommendations. Strengthen school leadership, right? And strengthen reading teacher training in terms of professional and yeah, it's no one says it all that because well, using YouTube guys the fuck choose one is for education, one is a microphone, one is publishing, one cheap. And the one wants reading the for creativity. So the house become of such a this more is um the direction of the programs, just some recommendation, we need to look at mental health, emotional and spiritual health indicators. And if you don't know, it's about to know that our for the curriculum training and use of corporation technology skills, the institution of AI, current stuff, you know, programs move forward. That's what uh, just programs development and development. So I just had some sources and of course the slide the presentation is available for sharing among the members as well. Share also for sharing with the members. Thank you so much for sharing. So as as you have to go to the comments you have this. Another sign of this is important as well. Yeah. I go up to the presentation. That one had a few points um, because we're talking about the key impacts of COVID-19. And in our context, there was a clear division that this has to be memorial, a clear division of teachers. And here terms like VAX and the non-VAX. And it was so pronounced in our context that I was sharing this experience with one of my colleagues, a few of our colleagues in the lunch break, where a particular administrator literally removed classroom from a teacher because the teacher was not vaccinated. And the whole impact also created this stigma with labels, in stereotype, and we forget the value of some of these teachers who are working for so long that because they were not vaccinated, we describe them as being unsafe and unfit. But in our context, the teachers who were vaccinated, the COVID wasn't true. So that is very important. And then we thought it would have an impact where increase, you have to buy masks, you have to do testing, you have to pay for that. And using the technology now, your electricity bill went up because you bought more electricity. Teachers were the first ones to start to access devices. And then as the new platforms came on board, you heard that your tablet or your device is not compatible. And there was that resistance from teachers because one of the platforms they thought that the authorities were getting into their personal information, and so they were resisting. Okay, so I just want to make those few points. And finally, we had a situation where nobody came to the assistance, or nobody thought that a teacher was using his or her physical space at home, and that needs to be transformed in a way because you're getting all the background noise and people dressing like an hospital. And those sometimes won't be propagated. Thank you. conversation of dedication. And then really into conversation of the teaching learning process. Right? And it was very unfortunate that some this children share. We will need to say thoughtful at this point, they this point, the internet of them have an issue from since this morning. Yeah. And then yeah, they're right here. You made it on your phone? Vaccination will happen just ability to deliver curriculum as it is and it's really unfortunate for example on particular right? We're totally looking forward and think what is going to happen to this generation or what was of this generation would be affected
Good afternoon, everyone. And heard, wait, welcome to and thanks for having me. You hearing the shit that you want to go to the beach. Yes. And I'm sure that you've been funding for the whole space of information. So let me be clear. In addition, you're forced to change my narrative. Because just sitting for a few minutes, I've learned so much. And so I'm going to change my narrative. I'm going to get it from actually a humanist perspective. Okay, so you have done this bit. I'm not prepared for watching the narrative. Say they don't work with me. I'm going to take it outside of the conversation by the user. So this is, the usual expressions. How many of your house owners or yeah, well, so you having someone their house. And you fix that person, right? And you always see us in pictures when storms, Jamaica, Caribbean. Now they're going to story five went on. And so you're trying to invest in a home or a house, a building. You want to think that the contractor that you're hiring is from building codes, right? And there's a lot of work that has been done in recent years, especially OCS from 2016, with regards to the building codes. And so when the building inspectors come, you expect that your house is supposed to be in alignment with these standards. That's not so. Alright. Personally, I know that teachers, they're the implementers of education. And so they are the basically movers and shakers of education. That is why I like to talk to teachers, and that is why I maintain that. I'm a teacher. I am a teacher. And I do believe that teaching is a profession, as I'm sure everybody here believes, right? So how do you go about measuring this? To me, we do processes, we have a product, and in any organization, you have to assess your processes or your product based on some kind of standard. That is how you have quality. Hello? So the question is, how do we go about assessing products in teaching? Anybody, you I don't have various territory here represented. What do you do within your respective countries? Because as a teacher, this is where you are.
Sure.
Wow.
Yes, I'm having a lot of problems.
And I just
Stream.
not standard. I think this ultimate satisfaction. Hello? So what happened? Mhm. Interaction. Go ahead. I'm not going to go on the slides. You're not changing the narrative. Teacher performance appraisal. That's one. And how has that been in your region? I think in the last 2 years or 30 years, we have changed the appraisal instrument. It is very evidence based. Like there are mostly people for us, so it's not so subjective. We do have a little bit that part to be followed. And assessment is strictly to the skills of the academic year and the foreign people. I think um, it is a very tedious process in our analysis. We sort of follow indications. It indicates that a teacher how to get things at least once they're done. Yes. Yeah, that. Yeah, so that's what often happens based on the full operating sort of evolutions. And so you say that the rubric is embedded at the value into the performance skills of it's somewhat your standards, right? It is somewhat. Somewhat. So, all right. So we still that's one that yeah, because there has to be a backdrop on which the teacher is appraised. Is that so? And it is very important. What does quality looks like in the teaching profession? Based on all the conversations you've had today, can we package that of those conversations? Ultimately, quality is just based on student performance and the performance between teacher quality, teacher performance, and student. Yes. So we have one of the things I've adopted, because recently I've been doing a lot of I have had a lot of conversation with a few of my colleagues outside the region, outside Manchester. If teaching strategies changes, if the way students learn change in the classroom changes, right? Hello? If everything changes on us as teachers, going us better. Is that fair? And one of the things when I was going through the standards, it spoke about teacher as a reflective practitioner, but also reflexive in that not only you reflecting on what you do, but how it impacts you as an individual will determine if I change or remain the same. So you can reflect and you just remain the same, and that's so. But then you're not internalized it. And that's how you improve who you are in this position. Let's see this level of always say that doctors bury their mistakes, but teachers live with ours. And that has been something that I've taken from my profession. Even when the plan of all teachers that are passionate, because what happens in my office, how I support teachers, impacts what happens in the classroom. So when I ever taught somebody, and I see, I'm not saying that I would get impacted 100%, but some little way I would have done either a good job or we have done the damage. And this is the reality. And so with this curriculum standard that we have been talking about, it is very important for us to know if you're looking at quality assurance, we need standards. If you're looking at quality control, we need standards. We need quality insurance, we need standards. And these standards, you may want to be along and actual was this document was a training for what you're looking for. Because even as you think about upgrades and all those things and reclassification of teachers and so on what premise are we doing this? Hello? There's a hand there. Then I'm looking at slides and we go to the next slide.
I want to ask an important question.
Right here.
How do we,
I'm not too hard about this here.
it's an easy question. How do we are able to implement standards when there's a lack of job descriptions of teachers? That's the first question. The second question, how can we use the standards as the yardstick when there's a disparity in each school? A teacher who is a graduate is operating in an open classroom as against a teacher who is in a closed classroom, enclosed classroom. And the same thing goes with teacher-student ratio. There's so many disparities. And also, I may operate in a school where students come from low socioeconomic background, and the diversity that exists in the classroom with all the different learning styles. Yes, we talk about the integration and so on. But there's so many variables impact the quality of the students. Because we have a lot of teachers now, well, they're called teachers, but they're not really supposed to teach us. Don't get me wrong. The government give them a job, they're not teacher trained, but they're not teachers because they were not trained.
Yes.
And,
Let
and you can't praise them because
me answer, and then she's going to take me out of my shortly. Please, we have a lot of factors as you have pointed out. Lots and lots. And we can't ever say this happened because of in one factor, because environment is allowed. But how do we then do that comparative analysis? What they are standards. So when I implement standards, then I know that there is the disparity between school A and school B, or environment A and environment B. Just put it out on the hat and say they have one, they have one. You have a backshot, compare over there. This is what the difference is. Don't they come making sense? Okay? So yes, it's clear as crystal that there is a disparity. But what is it that you are basing your evidence on? Are you with me? So I have ideal school A with interactive boards and all. And I have another school that is under the tree. What is the standard? And how do I know that A is basically better than B? How do you know that? How do you know that? There has to be a descriptor. Are you with me? And in knowing that, that is when you document it and doing something about it. Because that is real now, and I'm seeing some confused faces there. And that is where now you use that evidence to then say, then I can then distribute or think about equity. So school A already have, so why not use school B some more? What is your justification for that? It goes back to the standards. Are you with me? Yes, I see you so confused. But get your question together. I'm just going to go through the slide and then we move on. Yeah, that young man is, he trusts him in. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, yes.
No,
Yes.
well, I'm very clear because it's already a connection between two families.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you teaching is an agreement. You as a teacher have to have certain standards, you have certain qualifications that you come with. But for operating an environment, it's have a certain standard that needs to be chased. One of the main issues is that there is no equity when it comes to standards. So then you are deciding whether or not the why the outcome by only looking at the teacher, by first looking at the teacher's performance and then deciding the environment and then coming back with whether or not the executive agrees with it. Because at the end, if I were a good teacher, I take the nothing and make something.
Yeah.
I can have somebody and say something and then they do nothing. So do I create a nothingness? And it's like that, okay, since you don't work well with nothing, then let me do everybody not have.
Yeah.
Because to some extent, it almost sort of like it's simplifying down to the point of the standards that are going to teacher and not the standard and not the fullness of everything. So,
No, this particular conversation is around the standards for the teaching profession. Now, once you say the standards for infrastructure, standards for other things, but this here has to do with the standards that we're looking for the teachers. So you can look at that standard and say, here I am as a teacher. Um, what I'm executing the qualities that we're suggesting within this particular framework. I'm going to show you where I'm talking. You have a question. And it's just actually called quality.
oh, things to say. The standards. So, when you start, before you start, as professionals, you have the process and have the product. The process of teaching involves many stakeholders, not just teachers. So when we talking about the standards of teachers, do we have documents that judge the standard of parenting, the standard of the departments and ministries of education, and doing the work over time? Because our standards on their standards, because all of us came together our product. Or what is our product? It's residents, no, it's the children, it's the people who we put out into society. So that is how I will judge success. Like you say, we live with our mistakes, and nobody can judge the impact that has on one person. All right, so that's where the complexity of being a teacher is much more than a document stating our standards.
And I agree with you.
Right?
I
So,
agree with you because it's ever changing. But let's say this. Let's go to the kitchen. We're baking. We're baking a cake. The cake is a product. We have salt. We have sugar. We have flour. We have butter. Don't we measure those ingredients? Yes. And they standalone ingredients.
but
It's
then,
teachers are part of the entire product.
yes,
So why should we measure us?
we should measure this. You know, saying how we should not measure.
Right, but I'm not saying that the whole product is as a result of the teacher's standard. You with me? But we need to be measured. You see, if you're cooking too much salt, then a salty cake. Okay? So we have to assess us. We have to know the rules or the whatever you want to call them to make us better. And that's what we're saying. Benchmarks. Are you with me? So I'm not coming here to say that teacher quality will change everything in the child. Because I did say that it's dynamic. Yes, you have so many other factors. But one of the elements.
One is about one is of prosperity that coming now we're talking about is even the profession. Now the reason for that you need to examine what the reason for it is. Now, it's a more pressure on the base standards It's your family. You keep doing that. I'm not saying that you just don't have to go on and stuff. But nobody does rationalizing doing someone's down.
The precious in Francine.
But
The precious to the Francine. I'm from Colin and I think it's called freedom.
it's the issue before you come to implementing more standards on because that's going to create a bigger problem that we're going to face. And I'm not saying that, of course, you need to have standards. That's a must. But you can't just fill one bucket and leave the other empty and then expect everybody to be happy. You need to address certain things in a sequence for everything to work. Not always just
Seconds. Definitely do love your people is there. If I'm a teacher, what I want to know where I am in terms of my practice. So the standard has nothing to necessarily do with yes, it creates an avenue for a person to be held accountable. You with me? But the most first to self introspection. You with me? All right, so I understand what you're coming with because once this standards, there are chances that you be for example, in classroom with the building codes. With the building codes, there are building code regulations and acts that have been developed to make sure that persons abide by the building codes. But at the end of the day, it is a guarantee to you as a homeowner. You with me? So standards, yes, create that element for accountability, but it's not just for the external person. It is for also the individuals as well. Alright? So quickly before I close, these are the three of me, and what we want to complete that one. So now we shall practice what consolidation. The standard of this particular when we understand use students. It's not something that we want teachers and be able to understand how students learn. This is one of the standards that no, it's a true one here for 14. So I want to come to person to your this requires even more handle that is particularly well. That's why I have to choose that. Now, in this particular document, there are categories of teacher. Teacher that would have maximum time here, 5 less than 5 years, then you have 5 so what's for teacher teacher, then you have your competence to thank you in there. And then you have your teacher, so that's the constitution of me to appreciate, right? Next slide. We need to pick up this slide. What did I? So in the document itself, it has different things that a teacher needs to present, not just content knowledge. But most of the times you hide don't hide them on. Their qualification, their knowledge. But this basically goes beyond that. It has the skills, the attitude, the knowledge, and the so these are different areas. Next one. Okay, now this one here is what I call an innovative configuration map or rubric, if you want to call it that. And I just want to so this here, beside me. On this particular domain of professional knowledge, standard understanding how students learn, the beginner teacher is supposed to attain professional qualifications in developing pedagogical instruction. Example here, the beginning teacher. I want to show you something here. Give me a minute. Next slide. Yes. Look at the stats. This is OECS, engaged in 2019. This is at the primary schools. In Antigua, the back there, you have trained and untrained teachers. There were 48% of the teachers in the classroom untrained. Now, based on the standards, the teacher is supposed to enter the classroom with what? It's not my document. I'm telling you. No, but the thing is, when you talking, I understand the reality of what you know. But what is it that we can work towards? Because we are first really into the fact and the teacher. If it wasn't for my diligence, and as you said, teachers go in some to make progress in our teacher training. You understand? But it all comes down to you as an individual wanting to make a difference. It comes down to the environment that the support may be in. It comes down to who's the professional development. So, saying that this regular teacher who teacher training. Well, that was 28% of all teachers in 2018 and 2019 were trained. And all the others were trained. And sometimes some of the issues that we see in the education system, we have many teachers now. They're doing what they can based on where they are in terms of professional development. Okay, all right. So this is untrained, that being, and this is untrained. Yeah, I would like to assume education like it. Okay, so okay. So what's like speak up the where it's you think this came up with somewhere. Yeah. Well, this was a understand that the information being presented, for some of us it's new, and it just causes quite a bit of consternation. But recognize that it's just a snippet. It's just something to touch base on. As Ms. Master said, it's not it's not the information good. We do have other aspects of teaching leadership and teaching professional development we want to share with you. And then, of course, we have a final presentation. How do we go forward from here in terms of innovation? So I pray your indulgence to hold your questions. When this master sets out the door, then you can bombard her and surround her and keep her for the rest of the afternoon, please. Thank you. Let's move it out because I didn't want my other things next slide. Okay, for the other section, the doctor dresses children in the classroom from early childhood life to secondary school. And then you have leadership, which has seven um, standards that are associated with it: leading, student learning, professional learning, communities, etc. And that is basically targeting our senior and our middle leaders. So our senior leaders would be principals, deputy principals, etc. And our middle leaders would be people like your master, senior teacher, and so on. All right. Next slide. Next slide. And so you have one of the things I noticed is that when they spoke to leaders, you said informed decision making is critical in the challenges for brainstorming with leaders. And this is absolutely important. I don't know if it happens in your country, but data collection is very, very important and it has been a challenge here in Antigua. I don't know if you are better with data collection, but if you are not, and the principles, the day-to-day tasks can be overwhelming, but data is critical. If you're going to make strides, you have to try using the data. All right, next slide. And the last element in the standard speaks to teacher educators. They didn't want to leave that particular class out. Very often, it's like the teacher college is there and the rest of the system is there. Do you ever feel that way? Like it was spewing out teachers, manufacturing teachers, but they were not necessarily not their fault, because many of them are under resourced, but there is a disconnect with that sponsor. And so they too have standards that are associated with them. All right? And so I'm just going to, and these are the standards, they too have these standards as a classroom teacher, but of course they're different, but the same domain. And the last slide for me will be this. I just want to leave this food for thought. Now, in the OECS, there is a document that is called Quality Teacher Learning and Leadership Framework. Very, very good document. And there is a curriculum assessment document, etc. So as you read it, I'm going to please time to on this time of Saturday. Alright? Yes, do this. Here it says quality teaching centers around implementation of evidence-based practices that support learning and making learning discipline, including culture, lead, response teaching, differentiation, and universal design for learning. Then I have two other definitions of quality learning and quality leadership. So I end, I know it's a bit of a controversy in terms of what's the document, but it is not clear for us for reading and digesting and see if there's any work or value within the document. All right, so I hope that this was useful. Well, okay. To the very next kind of question. And our presentation, and we will have a few moments at the end of the segment. Good. I ask you to hold your questions. Bear in mind, our final presenters already on set. So we are ready now to hear about another aspect of teacher professional development. It was mentioned on more than one occasion this morning. It is a phrase, and that has to do with micro-credentialing. And I will hand over to Miss Kenya as responding pronoun to guide us through that segment. After which we will have Sister Nadine Malloy, President Morgan, to deal with teacher training in the final context. Good afternoon, colleagues. Real quick. So, it is clear based on everything that we've been hearing over the past 2 days that professional development plays a key role in everything that we do. Okay. Walden University has a very blue sky vision as it relates to professional development. We believe in students being lifelong learners across the board. And what that means is not only about degrees, it's also about competency based learning and being able to align some of the things that Dr. Dice talked about earlier. Stackable learning that allows you to reach your place in your career and your personal development. So as we continue these discussions, we'll talk about what that looks like, such as CUT's outline for professional development. How can we work together and maybe have CUT have their own PD platform where we all work together to ensure that the tools and the resources that our educators need are in there, where you can actually get your professional development done and you could stack them towards your degree. And you will be able to get a credible badge that I'm hoping everyone will have a LinkedIn page that you will be able to post those training and developments to build your competency as an educator or in your next profession. And we'll be able to discuss that further. And now I'm going to turn that over to Sister Nadine Malone. Thank you, Daniel. Good afternoon, everyone. Um, the next section of this panel dealing with introducing teacher training and professional peace, development opportunity, and it's noted back on the care
when it's in preference. I just go through very quickly, trying to read the rule, and I'm going to go through very quickly and just kind of outline the parameters for what that means. And what we give you training examples. One person is very quickly, and then you see what God has to say when he wraps up. So I didn't hear that. So the traditional teacher training methods, we have of course we know our workshops, seminars where we're engaged in one right now. And I think we have really about it. We go to universities, we go to colleges, you have in-service training. I remember my mother was a teacher, participating in in-service training, we're coming job training no more. And of course we have our consultation and feedback. These opportunities present themselves with advantages and challenges, and some of the advantages that we can think of in the traditional mode is in-person training, face to face, and we are experiencing direct interaction between trainers, pre-service teachers, and teachers who are in service. We have this hands-on. People can engage in real-time discussion and feedback. That almost took over the session just now. And then, of course, we have the textual methods where the traditional methods can be closely tied to the local educational context and curriculum. When Professor first presented yesterday asked about agriculture, all the hands in the room went up. So we have those advantages, but then there are challenges as well as the traditional approaches. You have limited access. If you can't go on site, then you can't benefits. There's time and cost. And, in a larger island like Jamaica, to travel from one place to the next, it's time consuming and it comes with a cost, especially for those who are already working, have children, that sort of thing. And of course, that also leads to lack of flexibility. Then we're now moving into the digital age, so we're having digital training. We're actually having this conference because there's some people on the way, so we have and of course getting us. And we were at the online course recently and start from within the course. Somebody recognized suddenly really from Barbados and people. And one of the first case you are in this space interacting with people from all over the world. Their virtual classroom, one of the breakout sessions, we were talking about free Google Classroom versus the paid Google Classroom more than I know it's small. We learn virtuals. There is videos to those listening in the data. There are one of the last video. Then there are peer networks and forums. You have your subject teacher association and so on. So what are the advantages here? There's global access. When we were on after COVID at the teacher training college before I arrived, when we were crunching some data recently, and we realized that that was one of the highest enrollment periods in recent times. We went back face to face. We were not publicly speaking hybrid and we understand. There are people from other participating. Again, the converse flexibility. The digital platform receiving the CDC forms in terms that we have become very familiar with, tailoring things to their own time. That's part of the course that I did. I just went on and did what I needed to do when I needed to do it. I wasn't constrained by the timetable or schedule. Then there's scalability concept to be considered as well. Larger boards can be entertained at any given day. And in some ways, it's more cost effective. I know we talked about if you're operating from your home space. What does that mean? Whose liability it is? Your electricity use on your device. One also in the ministry told me that you're no longer thinking about trying to go to work and or that's not sure that that's a conversation that we can have. First of all, the challenge is that there's always access. Do we have access for everyone? Does everyone really know how to use the platform? When I was in high school where I was during COVID, went online, there were teachers who refused to use all the tools that have been provided, whether paid or free. He got a little board and put it up in front of the screen and continued to teach from home to one time ago change, right? So then, the lack of interaction or one-on-one interaction, it it can be a disadvantage for some people, and a lot of my experiences with the online spaces the high school level because we're very much into it. And I'm laughing here because I'm thinking of some things that the students did that I can't share with you right now. Time doesn't permit. And then there's the overwhelming choices sometimes. What do you choose? What do you choose? Depending on what side you go to, the algorithm starts to bombard you. The next year sending you. The next company's webinar, sending to you. The next company's webinar. You need to log on and stop your human. And I hope the humans are pushing back on them. So that moves us to benchmarking teacher effectiveness. Classroom observation, standardized testing, peer review, self-assessment, and the effect of that comes from the industry and peer reports. What are the traditional benchmarking methods? Direct assessment. Traditional methods provide direct insights into teaching practices and student outcomes. And when you sit in front of someone and you have that conversation, it's really different when you're doing it in an online space as much as it presents a new opportunity for some people. Benchmarking can be tailored to local educational standards and practice. And I'm moving along very quickly. What are some of the challenges? Subjectivity. Um, Sometimes the person that you know so well, the person that you interact so well, the person who knows that you pick your nose or something like that, is not the best person to be giving you that feedback. It can be consuming. And there is limited data sometimes in that experience. Moving on to digital benchmarking methods. Now we can make use of things like analytics. I was very surprised some time ago when we at JTU, we were saying that we did not receive a particular email from EI. And EI later on was able to tell me that they use analytics to say that we got the email and we actually opened it. So I was learning as I'm going along. I'm making good use of data analytics, learning management systems. We in the public system in Jamaica we use something called ISIS, some people may know of render and facts at the secondary level. All of these learning management systems that give us information real time. You can click on, you get a transcript of the click of a button. Online surveys and feedback. That's great for getting our online programs. The students, as soon as they're finished, they do the evaluation. That's therefore, the first time we tested Google Classroom, the just the excitement of the sixth form students that we were working with at the time, just the excitement of the engagement come back to say, this I can do well at this. Yes, if you can reteach it, but how are you going to reteach it? And I'm going to talk about that for we train teacher for so on. And then of course there's the portfolios. When I did my first appraisal at the tertiary level, when I was appraised first at the tertiary level this time around, I was able to help and set up my digital portfolio, which I've never set up before. And as it's there, it's almost a permanent thing that you can continue to use to sell yourself or showcase yourself as the case can be. Complex data exists if we use it. Real-time feedback, opportunities that can that we can take advantage of. Of course, I mentioned from the massive data control and data access. There are concerns rather for the privacy of your data. Because they talk about the data, control privacies. Then we also run risk of over reliance to metrics as they call it, when we focus too much on qualitative data over quantitative data. And the companies that use that are European government applying the capital. One of the policies we get back to both. And we're not with numbers, we're people. Okay? Technology dependence. We can become too dependent on technology. Okay, no, human hands in ways. So, traditional methods for teacher training or benchmarking. They provide a deep and personalized learning experience for the most part. That's good. Digital methods require process, flexibility, and scalability, making them particularly suited for continuous professional learning. When I was looking at Cadence Suite, and I saw where the pages are starting to lifelong learning. That's something that we have to engage in now because continue to remain relevant. You know, it's last one textbook now. It's a short article that tells us, gives us a snapshot of what is happening in our space now too. So what do I think? Ideally, a hybrid approach is very important. It is critical going forward, especially when we see about the minimum wages that we're living with in our younger generation. Of course, it's pretty simple when a challenge is some of us are on the partial knowledge. But when we are making blend both the digital and the traditional methods, it offers the best of both worlds and really does make a difference. Of course, we need to think about that in time with things like personal support, mentorship, and so on. But guess what? It's a modern education, modern learning content. We have to put investments that will give us the highest quality. Finally, we have to recognize, we have to understand that the language of technology experiences is critical. We have to accept that having a favorable attitude towards teaching content with technology is important. We have to explore that means integrating technology by thinking about and designing student related activities. We are going to have to learn how to do that. And we have to adapt because we are teaching different projects with different tools and advancing European learning paths through our future based on the results of teaching with technology. It means that we are analyzing what we constantly because guess what? It's a motivation that is like the team that's sort of complicated forces. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Nadine, and I give the President one.
Thank you very much, Madam VP. That is why you are my first VP. And maybe it is good enough. Next, we start by saying that teacher preparation in the region has been a conservative construct. It is based on the British approach to teacher means quality of emphasis on getting what qualities they should have. And it's across region, the foreign tertiary institution is the Bible College. And other countries have such a good case for that college. However, there was a time when students were called region or the Bible, but developed your teaching in power. But during those days, students had to stay on campus because the philosophy is that the teacher is more than content. But there was great emphasis placed on the thought development, values and boundaries. And it was meant that when they were on campus, living on certain weekends, you would be engaged into all programs for your total development. So there was a mix of campus kind of interplay until they get late nowadays, where today, all people population is sport, but there's still a focus on very cheap we certain teacher training, having them there your forms, some of them called pass downs, classic great teacher. Great teacher is at the bottom far more than the top. They bring to those who make kids are not necessarily best teachers. The teacher having something more of power and to bring to the so I just want to leave that. The question is whether or not those coming from our colleges are ready for the new classroom. Is the curriculum responding in the teacher training colleges? Are we equipping them with the right kinds of skills? And that is great. That is one technology, talking coach methodology, how we approach conflicts, we'll be focusing on for strategy to find your goal. And we see things that is going on in our space. In terms of students, I have to say that some already get the solution that you want. it is an exclusion. So you want your apartment. Rather than want only for security, they have on standards. We even then, we have found that no one is the coordination. For example, standards relating to entry qualification varies across the nation. So do you treat with experience? Do you assess that? How do you take credits? That varies across the region. These standards are important. The qualification, minimum qualification that you should be or enter the teaching profession varies across the region. In Jamaica, it has to be a first year. I mean, for a certificate, no, first degree. Now, across other places in the region, it is necessary. In Harvard, what are some basic standards that you can meet as a teacher as it relates to knowledge, skills, and attitude? You know, student no, or sometimes not service to make it or makes you really place. Both Greek in Jamaica, the teacher training institution, are awarded by UW. So we have those figures what you have not been with that this is our context and our conversation law. The short board is the hour, which I know the short board works with the normal annual teacher education. What's short? Are you percent with the short board? Are you report to the board? Very much traditional. There are very few nations from the civil, we still need civil to not that I believe so well. A lot of us believe so. The same thing with the curriculum. The curriculum, uh, we are trying to keep up with what's happening, which is unfortunately which ahead. We now have to go through a process of review. And there are some obstacles in that. We need so many people studying and not teacher education or second box that to the system. You know, many times things that go wrong is when so we have to mention what people have worked today that you teaching public work. So we work with that. Strong people want something to be implemented, whereas spiritual and individual institution. So we have a common some commonest because no Christian or not from we must want to do something. So what for teaching training gone? It's cheaper to the so they come there for teaching still have some attitude problems, still struggling with So a lot of issues. So a lot of support for that in the legal records. Summation, no identification. Well, it was the institution or reform stands one more literature out part of that literature. The only other very declaration shall be standard bearer for only certain standard within the society is called. So when looks around not both and resolve. So we try and keep some there must be a page teachers can't form. There must be them. And there was a time teachers know how to count the some people. Serious, no one can do this to do now. No, you go change. That is thing. Oh, so we need those stats, those personal codes that keep us steady and focused. And I could go on. So I'm leaving it here. No one to call after this. Thank you. Thank you very much. Because we don't figure out the future. Rather than the little one of the thoughts. No, we are trying to bring this to the end of the conference, where we look at aligning all we have discussed over the last 2 days to consider how we transform education in the curriculum through various innovations. I use what we have qualified and comments from the adversary. We have right myself. I will for a minute. To the next presentation, to put those positions when time is forward. Moving into innovation, I would want to introduce Dr. Michelle Wilson. She was a distinguished educator, researcher, consultant, dedicated from fostering systemic change and inspiring a passion for a lifelong learning. Dr. Wilson holds a PhD in education, specializing in education technology from Maryland University, and she was currently asked. No, let's do this. And she holds a Master's of Science in Education with over 20 years of experience in secondary and tertiary education. Dr. Williams so far is renowned for her expertise in integrating technology into the classroom, curriculum development, and quantitative research. She is the principal at Antigua State College. I give you Dr. Vijay Williams. Good afternoon, everyone. So the first thing he's going to say is, Yay, Robin! I Robin believe in social change. Um, see, going on the my world, the social change. And that is one of the reasons why I'm still and the quality that I'm saying is deeply in social change. When I did my master's, COVID didn't hit yet. And I never thought integrated technology would be possible, as in I could make some serious money off of it. But what I was thinking at the time, I'm a little sure, so I need to be able to do something different. I didn't want to have the same degree. I think that degree was good. So I went to college
and I did integrated technology. After I finished that, I was like, okay, good, like this, right? And when I decided to do my PhD, again, it was integrated technology. And then COVID-19 hit. And I said, wow, I'm going to make so much money, right? And so I realized at that time when COVID hit, I was on the better my year. So let's begin. I know you're tired. So this is me. I'm a grandmother, one. As she said, I work and everything on. I'm a kid. I'm learning enough already. I was born in Canada, but half of my life I've been raised and lived in Montana. I've been an educator over 28 years, and I've done research and carrying lectures of efficacy and literacy barriers to technology adoption. And I would say, when I did this research, I was quite excited and happy because I was filling a gap in the literature. Because you get things from Toronto and the States and UK, but there was not much literature in the Caribbean. So when I was told if I wanted to present on this topic, I was someone. And the excitement was again because I'm feeling a gap. And I need you to help me fill this gap. So I know I'm pretty tired. I'm tired as well. My head is hurting me, but I'm here. And since I'm the last presenter, I'm gonna work you and I'm just gonna work me, right? And we're gonna have an interactive presentation. So first thing I'd like you to do is this QR code, and if you can scan, so you won't be doing a lot of WhatsApping during my presentation. But unfortunately, there is a bad part. I only have the free version of this, so only 50 people will be able to use, but that's good. The first 50, don't please, we're teachers, we're setting the standards. You need some time. So you need to scan the QR code. That's very important. And then you take a picture and you have to scan it. Everybody needs to scan. Oh boy, the internet. Oh boy. And that's some serious control. Are talking about innovation and using innovation. I try to use as much technology as possible. So as we're waiting for the internet to kick in to its fullest capacity, I will continue with my presentation. So education has always been going through constant reform. I'm sure as teachers we know that. So we've always been going through constant reform. How many people ever heard of the text tinkering towards utopia? Oh my. Well, the first time I had to read Tinkering Towards Utopia, Century Public School Reform, written by David Kayak and Mary Cuban, 1995, was when I was doing my master's at Walden University. And that book really enlightened me. Sometimes we take things for granted that, education is education, but it was a period of showing development and changes in education. So one of the things that the book shares that there are two dual goals of reform in regard to education. And that's one, maintaining stability in schools and pursuing innovation to improve education. So in order to do that, you needed to maintain a balance of stability. And my question to you is what are some of the ways that we could balance stability? Think about it. Preserving our culture, that's one. You notice that, I don't know in your country, but in Antigua, versus our history class is very, very small. And I never understood why people are no longer doing literature and why we have a class size of 5 in history. Is it that nobody wants to hear our history and know about our history and learn about our Nancy flowers? We don't want to do that anymore. Is it perhaps they don't want to read? So we need to be able to balance and stabilize what is happening. We have to gradually implement our reform. Yes, we know there's a change. Yes, we see that things are different. Yes, we want to see the thing, but we cannot jump to it. We have to do it gradually. If we don't do gradually, you know what will happen? Problem. We have to also maintain core curriculum standards. And I think standards is the word of the day. We did not confer. Well, it's important to maintain core curriculum standards. That means it needs to be teach foundational subjects and core competency to ensure continuity in education outcomes across generations. So when I listened to my mother talk about how when she guaranteed us we have to do this, and it was about one or two prize to we have to continue. There's some things we can leave behind, but there's some things we need to continue. And I think at times, as teachers, we're so overwhelmed with what they're asking us to do. They ask us to do so many things. We have to implement all these standards, but yet the institution or the government or the people of government us, we sometimes feel they're not on the same playing field that we are. And so therefore, we're not looking forward to be their council, but they're holding us. Engaging stakeholders in decision making. Sometimes in education, we make a decision, but we never take the time to ask the players. We need to involve parents, teachers, students, community leaders. So when they put systems in place, it benefits not the top or the chain, but it benefits everybody across the stage. School leadership. School must address emerging challenges. Now, I'll give you a joke. You look like you need a joke. Maybe dry, but even if it's a dry joke, you laugh still. So anything on this thing called ChatGPT. Okay. So a day I came to school and the lecturers must have found out to learn about ChatGPT because of course the students were using ChatGPT. And they said, Doc, we have a problem. We have this thing called ChatGPT and I don't know the human and down, and people just go down, what do you think? Of course, I didn't know about ChatGPT. I had it. I didn't care so much things running school. I didn't know what that was. But when I said it, just something to it about, And so I was so intrigued about this ChatGPT, this AI. But listening to the lecture when they made the report, they made it seem like ChatGPT was under fire and they were going to blow off everybody's head. And because of that barrier of they're going to use it to cheat, they're going to use it to launch their work, they're going to be anything. Do you realize you have this great innovation that can be used for good? But because we're free, people will learn, people will stop low. We will just cut down that innovation. So we must be able to track emerging challenges. We prepare our students for the changing world. Reality is, if you don't prepare them, they will prepare themselves. And you may not like how they prepare themselves. That's why lifelong learning and professionalism is vital in order to keep up with the time. You have to drive improvements in teaching and learning. So professional development, we just cannot just stay where we are and say we're teachers, but we're beginning experts in the middle. We have to always continue to catch up because if we don't and we stay behind, our students will outsmart us. We don't want that. You want that? Just checking. So we have key challenges. And some of these challenges that we're all facing, school faces tension between preserving stability and pushing for innovation. We all want to use the latest technology and what is out there, but we don't want to lose ourselves in it. So the tinkering process, first you tinker with the idea. Is it gonna work? Should it work? Before we get to this point. Then we do small changes and we look between the two roles, stability and what's in the stability and what the two goals I told you about. Oh my goodness. My class. Pursuing innovation to improve education. So what are the two goals? Maintaining stability in school and secondary. Thank you very much. I didn't even like my choir. Well, don't worry. I'm gonna start singing real sneakers now. So, the evolution of education. And I know we all know this, but I'm just gonna brush it up so that we're all on the same page. And to show you how education has been reformed. So you remember the traditional rule where the teacher used to stand up with the chalkboard with the chalk? And that was back then good. You know, the teacher would tell you, and you do that. You never gave back to them. You just did it. They can give you false information, but then you go home and say, teacher said, look like this what the teacher was. That was the rule. But it's from teacher center to student center, right? So again, we transition from teacher centered to student centered learning, and our focus is now on critical thinking over memorization. And back then, if you did memorize and you didn't do what you were supposed to do, what did you get? I heard detention, I heard licks. Thank God I didn't work on that system, right? But there was a punishment if you did not comply. Then we move on to advance the industrial knowledge based system. And that was a shift from factory preparation to knowledge economy, integration of STEM education. Then from there, we moved on to integration of technology, adoption of computers and online platforms, smart boards, virtual tutors, and adaptive learning tools. From there, we moved on to access and equity, expanding education for marginalized groups, movements of universal primary education and special need inclusion. And I remember when I was at school, those that had special needs, they were taken out in the classroom and they went to a special room. And everybody used to say, that's the dumb class. But now we remove that stigma and we integrated them in the classroom. So we really did not know who with special needs. We could do our accommodation and modification, and nobody had a problem with it because nobody would know that I got 20 and it's not go back 5. Globalization is a curriculum that dealt with inclusion of global perspectives, emphasis on foreign languages, and international collaboration. Moved on to responsibility and standardization, where we have the No Child Left Behind movement, and the use of standardized testing to measure performance. From there, we moved on to experiential and vocational learning. Everything now is TVET, 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 internship, and hands-on communication. And then there was a shift to lifelong learning, and that was education brought in a classroom. You can then now go beyond formal schooling. You can use online to be on point, to be on the same level, get a confidence, whatever you want. You get comfort in a classroom. And we have now started encouraging individuals for professional development. Then we had emotional and social development, where we started worrying about mental health. Persons are like, these kids now, they have such issues. We never had those issues back then. But things are different. They know how to use social media. They know when a person's kind of sad, I want to kill myself. So they tried in the Caribbean, sometimes that's for a while. When the parents tell them, walk in your room, right? Or you have to use up crying out. But now, if you look to 24, 25 years ago, the students that we have are not the students that we have now. Some of them don't have coping skills. And where that's a cause for concern. So, do you see the different ways of education has been reformed and shifting? And all of them happen gradually. And lastly, we start addressing global challenges such as climate change and SDGs. So let's discuss, why is it important to be innovative, and does it really benefit our students or even our education system? Now, I stopped talking. You are now going to start working.
Hello? Hello?
Now, right now, sharing with you that I'm really excited for speaking. So, then I know I'm spending my I'm getting to go to the unicorn. Important for innovation to you. To me, it was important to ask this question because you notice that the topic is a low top, long, drawn out question. But if you don't understand the keyword, it's very difficult. So I asked, what does innovation mean to you? And people say creativity, change, modernization, creation, and the bigger the word means, the persons that are using it, it's reoccurring. Okay? Progressive, activity, power, risk taker, different, mind, transformation, newness. So, Anguilla AI. Anguilla. Right? Well, at least I now know that everybody knows what I'm talking about when I need innovation. Now, luckily for you, if you move on to you and that's like, um, so what are some of the ways you can be innovative within the classroom and development of present curriculum? So, as a good teacher, you have 2 minutes. Go to the internet, we're looking for. So what are some of the ways we can innovate within the classroom and the development of present curriculum? It's very important because this presentation is about the Caribbean and where we are. And you are in the classroom. You are seeing what is happening. So what you're doing, everybody will be able to understand and learn from your mistakes. Or even learn and take something with them. That is one response. And I'm 53 people, so let's look. Then what was that? So allow mistakes interactive game, role play, and some project-based assignments, field trips, change of mindset, using technology, mobile learning, implementing STEAM, I think they're much doing, and STEM, use of technology, using Menti for engagement, simulation to current events, staying current, using digital tools in teaching, encourage collaborative learning, integrate the new technologies in the lesson. Okay? So, 5 responses was technology integration, 2 responses were collaborative learning, 5 spoke about student engagement, current events, incorporating switch classroom models in regards to using gamification. Interventions. Alright. So technologies like this. Okay. The next question that I asked was technology. Okay, what challenges do educators encounter when striving to implement innovation practices in the classroom? Okay, so I'm going to go back to presentation mode. What challenges do educators encounter when striving to implement innovation practices in the classroom? 7 response. Lack of adequate resources. Well, we must do that. That is what we always complain about, lack of resources. But they expect us to be with dinosaurs, push back into a lack of understanding or willingness from education officials to accept change. Lack of resources, coming up again. Internet connection, resources, see, resources. Every time people talk about the resources, hello. The major challenge is that our learning spaces do not reflect our current technological realities. We have very traditional learning environments, but are encouraged to be very innovative. Very true. Lack of resources, inexperience, lack of understanding, relevant resources. So, you're in a classroom and you're into that. But what people are not understanding is you have no resources. You don't have proper internet connection. So you can be using your YouTube in the middle of the program. It's some it starts to buffer. I don't have any backup. And it's starting from the cars, the students are looking at you're looking at the students here like the local stop one, stop one. So people would then decide, I don't want to be, or I don't want to use that. Now I know I'm doing this presentation. And I know what technology is. So guess what I have my iPad over here. I have my paper over here. There's things that we can do to prepare when we're using the new technology. Now we don't have to be afraid to use it. We can go boldly up and over still not understand because we have it. So when technology or other things fail, we don't say build a well here. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not supposed to try that.
So how encouraging the innovative leverage of technology, AI, and other narrative approaches and 21st century skills to transform student learning experiences. I mean, all 53 people, let's go. Because we spoke about data driven in the Caribbean, and we do not like to select on. We just like to talk and together, no data to support your answer. So we're collecting data. So far, 73% people say that we moderately effectively, some innovation is present, but there's room for significant improvement. 21% says slightly effective. Innovation is limited and not widely implemented. 6% says not effectively. Innovation is minimal and traditional method dominate. And 6% says very effective. We are consistently innovating and seeing positive outcomes. Now that 6%, that may be the people that are actually using the innovation and actually are able to compete with the students. But you see the other 69%, even the 19%, those are serious statistics because that means we're not really doing what we're supposed to be doing. And although one tells us wants to do the buy-in and implementation of innovation within the educational system, they have to be able to fix the problems that are causing us not to be able to implement it, or we're always going to be lagging behind. Develop an innovative method used by teachers and their stakeholders to evaluate the transformation of education in the Caribbean context. To provide an innovative method used by teachers and our stakeholders to evaluate the transformation of education within the Caribbean context. Because remember, the question was innovation in Caribbean curriculum development. We need to be able to know what innovation is, which we all know. How do we implement it? And then how do we evaluate what we're doing in order to transform our education system in the Caribbean? To provide an innovative way or method used by teachers and our stakeholders to evaluate the transformation of education within the Caribbean context. Seems like the question's done here. Is it because we don't evaluate? Data collection, okay, education task force, student tracking system, using AI, collecting data. Let's go. It's 53 person. I'm not a mathematician, but I definitely know that's not how. So WhatsApp, Microsoft Teams, student evaluation, online communities, data analysis, yes, real-time monitoring, use of email, no email, or emails. We'll take up two more responses. You're not working with me, we're gonna take on three. Remember, I didn't Antigua, so pilot testing, slash, learn. Well, I got 26, so great. And that is it. I'm gonna keep your tablet. Well, yeah, we looked up around the clock. So, what else have we got some? So I have provided you with some ways that you can innovate or be innovative within the Caribbean curriculum development. One, infuse Caribbean heritage and cultures, share local history and folklore, subjects like literature and social studies, use of case studies, incorporate AI-driven learning tools and virtual classrooms to make education accessible around the country, gamification, the integration of regional language, skill-based and vocational training, developing entrepreneurship. We love to use entrepreneurship. We always speak about everybody to be an entrepreneur, but yet we incorporate these in classroom. And so we need to then be foster relationship with local business development in order to pursue innovation. Community and industry partnership, collecting with local businesses, this will exist with the real world problem solving opportunities. Focus on regional integration. Encourage student exchanges and cross island collaboration projects. Using innovation to evaluate the transformation of education in the Caribbean, we need to be sure so that we're always one team and one company. Training of teachers with AI, professional development initiative, ensuring that the curriculum is relevant. Engaging stakeholders through digital platforms and implement digital assessment methods. Data-driven analysis is very important. In the Caribbean, we will be here, we're working, we have an issue with a colleague, instead of we take a pen and paper and write them, talk, and then that's the same person that gets the promotion. And what we will I don't think it's fair. But then what you have, you've never written, never said anything, you never collected the data. So how now do you want to tell that shouldn't get it? Yes, it's unfair. So when we say we do a lot of, or we use a lot of AI, how do we know? Are we just talking? Does it feel good? Does it sound something nice to say? Are we competing with the international standards out there, the universities out there. What is the data? So that is very, very important. And that really rules or shapes the way we think and where we want to go to, especially when we want to innovate. Now, one of the things I did not mention is in the Caribbean, when it comes down to tourism and agriculture, that is very vital. But yet, are we pushing that in the schools? We know that it's a need, but how are we innovating, cultivating that into the curriculum program? And since we don't do it, how is it we're preparing our students for the real world? So I did have this is the last slide. Okay, so we're at the end of the rainbow. I don't know if it's gonna work. Hold on, let me see. Circumstance will limit work engagements to gain basis. So how do we decide if we should start this action to attach to change any our future purpose? That the answer can be found, of course, is education. Started like 19th century, but very spending procedure about strategy and real story to time to be. In three ways in which the resident can trust your public learning the child developer who would be paid from the soft skills, whether it's adapter and they are or supporting we encourage starting for lifelong careers. This is especially true given that 65% of today's children depend on jobs they don't access. Which occurs this time in introduction learning to all students have acted for years in their schools. Community has furnished and they were using the ESPN as the accepted outside. It's true. It's like this has to find an idea from the technical sound that you it's practically a random scripted curriculum that the students offer in their life. Things like shared experience, right? Information to things when you release the creative stuff with all your students. When you let them design make things and let them solve problems and they find relevant. Every team your students get a chance to be authors and understand this as far as fiction or you have a stage for a teacher that you can never have catch over no. Thank you, everyone. Just to make the long story quickly, we have spent 2 days of torture, not being able to sightsee, go to the beach, have to get some fun, focus, focus, focus. Welcome to your first regional conference. Give yourselves a round of applause. So we will allow, as I said, half a minute for any questions to the panelists or Dr. Bafar. No preamble, just ask a question, please. Or give your congratulations. Not, not very much, Vincent. Every student should have that. I know it's not advice. So, that's very
Never learn acquired talent was just so long. I want to congratulate you on your delivery. I don't want anyone to ever think that I am not for professional development. But I want us to be realistic when we talk about it, and I want us to talk about it in our context and in what we're facing right now in the Caribbean. And that is the only way we're going to address the situation in a way to actually fix it. Because if we can talk about professional development, it is very important. We are trade unionists. I don't believe that many teachers should step in the classroom and not. So I understand where you're coming from. But we have teachers who are leaving the profession. We have teachers who are not satisfied with what's happening in the classroom, who are upset with education officials. And at the end of the day, when we lose these teachers, it doesn't matter if we are trained teachers. Our education system is still going. So when we attack these problems, procedure and the process is very important. We need to look at where we feel, what we need to fix before we can deal. And that is what I was trying to bring forward. But I agree with everything that you said. And I understand this is never personal as I
very students. How about you guys? You know this survival, we have a notice, and then you are also social media. No, we have a phone, a walkie. So, speaker signed up prior. Otherwise, listen, and then just, oh, no. There's some you. Thank you very much for the presentation. Listen, wonderful, technology leading in technology development. So give us some examples of what you use technology, instructional in your school and the influence that you have over that about instructional technology in your school. Thank you. So, I think we can practical as well. I use Gamify. My students love when we use games, so Kahoot, we do the Mentimeter. Also, I use some launch technology is not about PowerPoint. It doesn't really assume that they know how to use PowerPoint, but they don't. They put everything on that screen and they read from the screen. So I would even go through training them how to use PowerPoint. So it's not that just using it within my classroom, that within my classroom, they don't know how to use it. Also, when it comes to data driven, then GK College was invested in an AI program that we get points that, that we can ask the students, do you learn literature or, or what are we not and then to actually form that they can speak that they share their opinions. We automatically will get it live on this what we can recommend here. Thank you very much. Mr. Manalo, you have a minute. Can I just say to our point, that particular half a minute? Yeah, that particular system, it just, sorry, work together. That particular system also generates themes gives suggestions, and so in very real time, you get more than just responses. You get suggestions. You get ways that you can adapt and adjust the classroom setting. So it's a really powerful way to create innovative classes in a way that is data driven by the people that you're providing the service to students. Thank you for sharing, sir.
Yeah, this one really about the value of question on each standpoint. What are your views on establishing regional teacher training institutions in the context of California, in order to ensure that there is homogeneity of standards across the board? No?
A more institutional. Especially where we're going with what knowledge from the information that we have to know. But I think that you would have populating ingredients. A lot of these big United States that these physical spaces that we have, they are going to become toxic because the world is growing economy. So I believe one of the constituency of Paraguay, any other agency which I have been thinking of no. We can engage in cooperative agreement and allowing the attention for similarly from the university that we're taking to operate at one point where we have people from there to learn more sentence. We need to be able to go to what needs to access the program where we get access to the marketplace. Certainly, we can cooperate and get more conferences there.
Response before we put another on yourselves down of the moment. I would like to invite presentation from specific words from solution.
Sure. I think it's not one piece, but we need to look at harmonizing our curriculum, how we treat it assessment, similarly how CXC would operate. The same thing can happen across region. Of course, naturally, human action reviews every part of the struggle in moving. Then that's where we have to work. We really want to ensure that people so the standards get made to the persons who are our role as teachers. We have now party have done so before. For example, you may have a course at the state college in technology and education, but it has different outcomes from another course at another university somewhere else talking about technology education. And I recall we got someone from the ITB who confidently those that's courses offered at Austin Community College. Exam this curriculum so that we don't really graduate first. So you have an associate degree in computer technology. They're called. Now, I want to see that, but it's really so possibly the physical thought.
From you, and then also, yeah, well,
Yes, I can't drive about memory. This is what I call like coach them to respond to further action appeals when we got them from Education International supporting our brothers and sisters in the different parts of the world who are struggling. I want to, just as I came on, I picked up my phone when I saw the message to say that the government of Association teachers contributed 1,000 US dollars to the level Virgin Action PA. And you know, some serious autonomy from I take for this. They're no, yeah, no.
freedom of expression before. I don't want to start up here in policy. I don't know it's exactly what you respect everybody. We in senior libraries, we are contextualizing standards. And in a probably in another forum, I will be able to share with you some of the reference points you could use to ensure that this thing recognizes the teacher as a worker and also to ensure that it is teacher friendly and student friendly. Thank you.
So then, you also can look at your questions.
Yes, blessings, Francine Reynolds. So yes, I am facing, I forget what I was going to say.
Do you not hear?
Great thank you to the body, the conference, the Teachers Education Conference. I have all the years only women, but this is my first how should I put it? Great minds meet together. And it is my first conference in all of my education conferences I can go back filled with knowledge to take back to but I mean, because everyone has saying it was really food, like local food and everything in one that I can take. There was no garbage here. And I wish that, like, well, I don't really want outside because we really do this every time, share and then we go back. But certain people need us to know that we are full of all this knowledge and we are not nonsense. Our leaders are not nonsense. We know what we all about. And to answer if my president is here, he's doing such a great job with the people like printing. And he stands up for arts and go for the ministry and sit down there. And he just had to relate and let them know what kind of thing. He contradicts them. I'm telling you this. I hope you talk with London today. Not to really, I just want to say, job good. Yes. Because document the document whether it's the Lord or not thing that I have learned. I'm going to also let him know and put him in practice. And I don't know when to do. So it's kind of a song that I but I am facing some health issues. I had a stroke in March, and I'm innovative because I am teaching teachers. We are so great. I am teaching 7 years prior to my accidental school where those came and slammed me and knocked off in this house. I have great size my neck. And I'm teaching through all of this. Another forum, y'all gonna get a conference to this, another forum. I'm going to tell you all how we teachers have been walking through our health issues, strength and strength, getting the outcome in successful. I have a good and parents and teachers, we are doing great. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Chair of the Health and Safety Committee. Mr. Chair of the Health and Safety Committee, are you paying attention, sir? That we need to have discussions
100% Christmas. I'm going to be thank you very much. It's okay.
And go forward for situation. You guys have discussed a lot today, and I applaud you. I think it's one of the best education programs that I've seen in the years ago. But I'm also going to proud of you with the culture of the Caribbean teacher. I've heard a lot about what the teacher needs. I've heard a lot about how you like to integrate technology in the classroom. But honestly, first, our teachers need to know how to use the technology and not be afraid of it. So before a teacher can teach the technology, your students are now ahead of you with the technology game, and then you're coming to challenge you with that technology. So with that being said, I would love to see a task force within the CUT where we're looking at the competency of our teachers. Everybody else is looking at job descriptions. Everybody's looking at how we should grade these teachers and their performance evaluation. When I would like to challenge students, let's see what the competency of that teacher is for if they are ready from an innovative standpoint to be able to engage the students at the next level. Because it's not everything that engage a student, no. So with that being said, with that challenge, what does that PE map look like? Develop a professional development map based on the needs of the union, all unions. Kind of like the questionnaire that she did, integrate that technology to get a real-time answer and real-time concerns from all unions. Find that overlapping harm and develop some kind of training developments around that. So that those areas of concerns that we all unions can be answered. And of course, while the universities here to help very fascinating. And we are doing that now with Dominica. We have our first couple of training lined up with Dominica. We have our first couple of training lined up with Dominica. We did one with the BDI, and these were complementary. So with that being said, and there were some paid ones as well. But there's no charge for lots of kids, and we don't mind bringing thought leadership. We bring them every year to the BDI. So you have the resources, you have the tools, but are you really using them? And do you identify what your needs are so we can help you get there? So I challenge this upcoming year to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, final speaker, before I hand over to the General Secretary, that's getting nice. I would say that it's a really great experience. Just you hearing all of the hearing all of the energy and the questions and the passion that you have about education and pursuing it. I want to stress how beautiful all of your countries are. I had the pleasure of going to a it is the grass is not greener somewhere else. There is the concern about the exodus. But the reason why there's somewhere to go is because they've lined spots. And there may be a reason why those spots are available. Working in the United States, being familiar with the fact that the exodus is going to Canada, UK, and the US, I can only speak to the US and say very specifically that when you come into this environment, it is a different culture. There are different challenges. You might be jumping out of the pan and into the fire. Keep that in mind. And as a result of being where you are now and being in a supportive environment, it has units that are pretty much actually taking you into account. These are assets that you have that you need to take advantage of and appreciate. And in that creativity, you need to understand that all let's talk about technology. Technology is also to eliminate a lot of the jobs you can prepare these kids for. The only thing that will help them to stand apart is that creativity that you stick to teach them to be beyond the technology. A lot of jobs, similar to, let's say, in the legal profession, a lot of that work is going to go straight to technology. It's not a goal anymore. So you have that creativity, that innovation that I'm speaking about. And professional development is personal development. You're bringing yourself into that classroom. So you cannot be confined to a particular standard. You really do need to find out who you are and bring the best to the classroom. So be creative in your profession, but it's a wonderful opportunity to share across all of these different countries, and I will continue to do so. And education, which is international, but I continue to be a part of that. Which is
Thank you very much. Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite the background communication committee to make some presentations to Dr. Buffon, the sponsor, and the Dr. Buffon.
the factory to one is a token of appreciation for your contribution to the Caribbean Union of Teachers Education Conference, December 12th, 13th, 2024. Yes, that's the date.
We would want to share and continue to say thank you. We would want to, in the first instance, say thank you to my shares of spirit. Yes. It's I'm not acknowledged. It's so pervasive at this context now. Everybody's enthusiastic others learn up. We focus with much of the possible methods, support and assistance from various partners. At this time, I invite Mr. Christine Samsokra of the National Education Association to accept this token from the CUT as we say thank you for your support. Right. And she has to get right back up because she's popping in and out. So we have another major partner funding our program for the last 2 years from university. We want to find the formalization the engagement with them. Thank you. It is always important to say thank you to our other partners who support us through things without and so as a as but also as a board member for education development region. So many people particularly for the support that even very much. So there's a bigger person that was important. You know what makes you presence from the list of the Caribbean universities. Thank you very much to all for your presence here and for investing in your members by having them attend the education conference. Thank you very much. This was successful and we appreciate it tremendously. The conference would not have been possible. And so, with all this team of fantastic individuals standing beside and behind me, the members of the education committee, not practical, thank you very much for the strong project impact. Ladies, thank you so very much. I will now hand over to the General Secretary of the CNT and the President to finish this part of the conference.
very much, Sister Antonia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is customary that the senior team would present a plaque on behalf of all of you the force units for the wonderful work they do in getting the executive meeting going and it's in the spirit the conquered the words. One. Notwithstanding, the last executive met in the Bahamas. In fact, we were on French minutes. I recall Luis that would say, and we were well treated. Right? But we want to thank them for the hard work. Then the moment that you for the work and on the heart. So that it was by St. Peter and the staff of approval. So, that's was Charles, president of ANBUT. And he's what a wonderful work that he's doing a nice together. Later was had seven parts that still have some work to fulfill, and the poor young men there are few things against them. Going to be before. One, top college was there, and divine structure. Everyone toward the contradiction, number 15, the daily user of the Yes, yes. Please follow something that is mentioned in stock, not control on the welfare, and not one seems to lot of comments got here and there with the government. There is heavily restrict over the shirts and peers and bodies walk on the shore. They collect here a lot of thousands. Time for the woodwork you shall there. And so on behalf of the entire CUT family, percent this token, we try to show appreciation for the work we want. Enough for them, all the officers on the streets to work too hard, that job is to ensure they work and do the benchmarking. And done the benchmarking and they're benchmarking. So give them a round of applause. I want to thank all the units and the members for working hard in the executive meeting in the conference. We are grateful for that. But we know it has not been easy, it's expensive. Let's face it. But you're all here and you're happy for the investment that you can do. In order to have those sponsors, you can move out there. So they're the grace of study and hope. We want to talk about one university. Yeah. We want young lady on the internet, myself in the comment. We tell your booklet, someone had to be there. Here, there are such of let's get the you know, and central message for us and we so it's what's happening is with the COT and we're grateful for them. We have the government for sure. We want you the game, and we have a education solution, in before the that's important. So we are one, which is the first is the student so on. You know, you don't want. Find something to offer and we wait because we have rather good race. Right? We have competed the force and no triggers are with us.
Here's last, not last year, July when held the executive meeting in Bahamas, and Tito was not expected. And we just wanted to say thank you to Casio and Sister Sharon on behalf of family for what you and your committee have done. And everyone can say we had an excellent executive meeting as well as successful conference. So I just want to present you with these simple words and the total that you can actually
Thank you very much. And then we look past one of those may live secretary who will give us direction. That's their job.
thank everybody. Thank you for all your well wishes and thank yous. You are most welcome. We have one more event planned for you this evening. It would not be if you know your that they have done that they can put some done that. So we're going to meet at our headquarters. We just think it's right at the end of these meetings at our it is has worked by my third meeting says to be press the people count on that if you want us to see it in time. They would they can say because these are the ones to see in the alone for or because police that it's you so then that when so We should get maximum for 7. We don't have to go to data, which is not a big data, so you have 7. You have no babies to go home, so you know, they say until 1. So 5, that's fine. No? You have babies going on too. Um, okay. But that's still over the God. So, okay. So, I first something that maybe it's a bit of somebody who might call it somebody you know. Thank you very much. Yes. Then we have John Sir, because knowledge that is quite a bit if we're going to do the up and down. So, when it's I remember this particular year, one, you know, from yeah, no, if you decide as your winner and you say you want to do essential, then you have graduate and your second degree, she will pick and make sure you will 20 years of time, soil is very poor, 20 years of peace for another methods of that area sport and God credit for this not the family thing and God is trying to find conflict that's policy very that what the street. Right, strategy sales chasing the versus the kids just in the forward units it's a small for the partnerships. We have to first here run for that 90 or that goes to 10. So we're moving on to 9:30 because there are some questions we need to get before I know this when one to so that's really no problem. So just verify this that because I would like to answer that to you. Your president never looking at number. As I'm one Secretaria do Tipo 9:30. We got right. 12:05 we have Mrs. Christine. So you put 12:05. Then at 1:30 and 1:30 we have St. Vincent and Grenadians. Let's see you're sleeping for what one is out of your reason. St. Vincent for St. Kitts is 93. Leaders movement for GTA 1 for the president. So that's at 1:30. So pick up is at 1:30. Then we have 2 p.m. pickup. That's Barbados 4. SLTU Angular Teachers Union sick, Mr. Byrne, and Sister Antonia. So at 2 p.m. we have Barbados, SLTU, ATU, Mr. Byrne, and Sister Antonia. And then at 5:35 we have our sister Shante Martin. 5:35 in the campus was Shante Martin because we have one meeting at from 5 to 4 this morning, so I think it was at the airport. What time? She should be at the airport for 5:30 in the morning. Well, then you better.
For all the joy, yes. One of the problems teachers have, they don't know how to write